posted whatever you written, the small poll I conducted. So based on that, I shared the score. Can you able to see my screen? Yes, please respond my question. Can you able to see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So today we are going to start the third unit. Okay. So regarding second unit, if any doubts you have still, you can ask now. Otherwise, we will go through the third unit. Shall I start?
Yes,
Shall
sir.
I start? Okay. So coming to the third unit, in second unit, in examination, what type of different principles and concepts are same. Okay, but the thing is, method of asking the question is different. That all methods I covered in the second unit as well as in the previous first unit also. Likewise, in this unit also I'm going to cover. Now coming to this one, this second, third unit have the three topics. One is the design of shaft, design of shaft, design of shaft. Next one is the design of keys. Third one is the design of couplings. Okay, in these three, every topic is important. Okay, this topic maybe you can expect for 2 marks question. Maybe some derivations are there, and you can expect derivation, you can expect the problem. Okay, and this one is the most important. Okay,
So this is the third chapter,
so
sir.
yeah, today I'm starting the third unit.
This is the subtopics of third unit.
These are the subtopics of the units.
Okay, sir.
It means third unit have it contain the three topics: design of shaft, keys, couplings. Okay, so these three units. Today I'm going to start with this design of keys. Okay, later we're going to start the design of shaft and coupling. And one more thing I want to announce that whatever the previous first unit and second unit, I will give the assignment questions. Okay, through this MS Team only. You need to write the assignment and post with the help of first scan it and post in the MS Teams. Okay, maybe separately I will give, otherwise combination of these two units I will give the assignment. Okay, so ready to write. And today I'm going to start this topic of the third unit, one of the topic, design of keys. Okay, so key is nothing but in previous problems, whenever explaining the problems, shaft is subjecting to torque, direct axial, like that. There is no key way. One term I used. There is no key way. There is a key. Like that, the terms I used. So that is this one. Okay. So key is nothing but is a piece of metal. Key is nothing but it is a piece of metal. It is a piece of metal. So generally it is made up of mild steel. Okay, it is generally made up of mild steel, and it is inserted. It is inserted between the two meeting parts. What type of meeting parts? Where there is a existing the relative motion. Where there is existing the relative motion. So see here, this is the shaft. This is the shaft, and this is the hub of pulley. Okay, this is the hub of the pulley. So on this hub, the pulley is going to design. Okay, so one only hub portion is taking here. Now when there is between the relative motion between these two parts, okay, their particular situation, these keys are inserted. So here to insert this one in the shaft, there is keyway is providing. In hub also keyway is providing. Keyway is nothing but one slot or recess that are producing in the shaft material and that are producing in the hub also. So this keyways are used to accommodate the key. These keyways are used to accommodate the key. Now see here, what happens after assembling this one? Suppose it is assembling here without key. What happens when the shaft is start to rotate? When the shaft start to rotate, so what happens? Simply it is sitting on the shaft, and because the shaft is having the instantaneous power coming from the motor, only the shaft is going to continuously rotating. The hub is not going to rotate. So what we need to do to rotate this hub portion, we want to make it as a rotation. We want to generate the whatever the torque is generating here, Newton meter, that also we need to transfer here. What we need to do, if we insert the key here between these two, easily whatever the torque is generating, that torque is going to transfer to the here. So on this a pulley is mounted. To that pulley, if we whatever the power transmission system means, belt drives or chain drives or gate drives, whatever they are there, if we kept here, the whatever the power is generating from the engine, that is transferred to the our required position. Okay, so this is the some theory introduction about the keys. Okay,
Sir, instead of using key, we can weld, no, sir?
instead of using key, please.
We can weld the shaft, no, sir?
Very good question. So see, this is the we can consider this key is a temporary fastening. Okay, instead of using the key, if we weld, what happen? Suppose if you consider the gearing system, generally gates are mounted on the shaft only. Okay, when there is a breakage of gate teeth, what you will do? You will what you will do? Then easily you will going to replace the new one. When the gate is, suppose this is the gear. So this is the gear. So if any one of the teeth is going to break, what you will do? You are going to replace with a new one. So when you want to replace with the new one, if you weld that assembly, what happen? What happen? It is unable to disassemble because already you welded this portion, shaft and this gear portion. Okay. What happened at the time? The material loss is going to taking place, and money loss is also going to take place. Welding is nothing but that is a permanent joint, permanent fastening. So if you take the key here, key is whenever the breakage of the product means breakage of the any device, easily whenever want to disassemble, you can easily disassemble and replace with the new one, and easily you can assemble. That is the advantage with the key. Okay, and instead of key we can use, if you may get the question, instead of using the key, why can't we use the screws and nuts and rivets? These are a question will rise. So the specialty of the key is whenever suppose if you use the screw joint here to assemble these two, what happen? Only whatever the torque is generating here, only that torque is going to transfer here. But in some situations, gears are sliding. In such situation, gears are sliding from here to here. Gear need to slide. Like in a gearbox, when you are changing the gears are going to slide over the shaft and connecting to the another gear. So then only the gear is going to changing first, like a first gear, second gear, third gear, like that. At the situation, these keys are used. With these keys, sliding motion also we can obtain. If you use the welding, if you use the screws, if you use the bolted joints, the sliding motion on the shaft cannot be possible. Here, relative motion means whatever the torque is generating on the shaft, same torque should be obtained by this pulley or hub or gear, as well as it needs the axial movement also. Okay, for that this particular situations, keys are used. Okay, so this is a brief introduction about the keys. And to insert the key, first we need the keyways to generate the keyways. Here broaching or so not broaching, what that milling, with the help of milling operation we can produce this keyways. Okay, and half of the key is going to accommodate in the shaft, half of the key is going to accommodate in the shaft, and remaining half portion of the key is going to accommodate in the hub portion. Okay, And generally the keys are going to subjected to considerable shear and compressive stress, because after assembling here, after assembling what happened, shaft is always rotating because power source from the shaft only, okay, from the engine. So because of that, what happened here, the forces are going to act on the portion of the key which is seated in the shaft recess, and whatever the remaining half portion of the key is going to subject to opposite forces. The portion is seated in the hub, okay. Because of this reason, see here, this I'm drawing here as a front view, okay. The forces acting on the key because of rotation of shaft like this, and resisting forces on the key because half portion is mounted in the hub portion like this. The key is going to subject to the force. Because of this reason, what happened, this is subject into the tangential forces. So that reason this key is going to subjected to considerable shear stress and as well as compressive stress. Why compressive stress? Suppose first it is going to subject into shear stress. Even you design the key in such a manner overcoming the shear failure, what happened, it is going to subject into the compressive, because suddenly because of shock loads of the from the coming from the shaft, because of shock loads coming from the shaft, suddenly loads are applied. These sudden loads at the beginnings we can find. At the beginning of the operation, you can find the sudden load. Like this same repetition of the sudden applied load, the key material is going to some subjected to some crushing. Okay, like this, you can find the shape of this one after crushing. Like this. So after crushing, the shape will going to like this, and because the key is going to fail in crushing, the joint whatever the assemble is there, thus at that assemble going to gets looseness. Because of looseness, finally what happened, initially small impact loads are generating. After somewhat displacement, larger impacts are going to generating here, okay. So this is the brief introduction about the keys. Now see here, attachment with the keys we can find here. Half of the portion, if you see here, half of the portion of the key is placing in the shaft, and remaining half portion in the hub, okay. So this total distance, this total nothing but width of the key W, okay. Half of the portion, I already said half of the portion W by 2, half width, okay. And this is the width. Here also it is showing the same notation because this is a square key, okay. And you can find the another type of key. This is the round key. And so once if you go to the classification, you can find this one. So this one is the round key. Half of portion is placing in the shaft, half portion is placing in the hub, okay. Now this one, see, this is a rectangular key, okay. Now if you see this one, this is the coupling, so this is a shaft, half portion of the key is placed in the shaft and remaining half portion in the hub. And for this key, it is having somewhat head. This head is used to, whenever we want to disassemble with the head, we can pull it out, and easily you can insert. Okay, this is another type of key. This is a Woodruff key. This is known as Woodruff key. This here, half portion in the shaft, half portion in the hub. Okay, this is the attachment with the keys. How it is going to sit in the hub and how it is going to sit in the shaft. Okay. Now coming to the classification. Here, this is the classification tree diagram I drawn here. So generally, the keys are divided as sunk key and saddle keys. Okay, so go through the one by one. First one is the sunk key. First one is the sunk key. So see here, this classification is based on its dimension. This classification is based on the usage, means how much capacity these keys are going to sustain. Okay, based on these parameters, these keys are classified. First one, sunk keys. Sunk keys are having the maybe square as well as rectangle. Okay, so first one, rectangular sunk key. If you see the rectangular sunk key, rectangular sunk keys are the user proportion for this one is, for rectangular sunk key, the user proportion is width of the key is, for the width of the key is d by 4. Okay, and thickness of the key is d by 6. Okay, where d is the diameter of the shaft, where d is the diameter of the shaft, okay. So this rectangular sunk key is classified based on its parameter width and thickness. Okay, so rectangle having the name is rectangle here, width is d by 4, thickness is a d by 6. If it is square, it means square sunk key. Next one is a square sunk key. Here width is d by 4 and thickness also d by 4. Okay, width is d by 4 and thickness also d by 4. That is nothing but square sunk key, or we can call as a rectangular key or square key, we can also call it. Okay,
So how we are getting D by 4, sir?
so see here, this is a standard empirical relations, first thing. Okay, so you need to remember these relations. Second thing, and d is the diameter of, I said d is the diameter of the shaft, always in mm. Okay, if the question is asking calculate its dimension, its parameter, it may like this. What you need to do, first you take the diameter of the shaft, whatever given in the question, substitute in these equations. If you substitute, you will get the w value like a width of the key and thickness of the key. So here I'm drawing here for the rectangular key. The d by 4 and this is the d by 6. Okay, width and thickness after calculating you show here, and length is depending upon requirement. The length is depending upon your requirement you are going to select. Okay, the same manner here also for the square key. For the square key, both width and thickness are both having the d by 4, where d is the diameter of the shaft. Okay, so whatever the diameter of the shaft given in the question that we need to substitute here, we'll get the width and thickness. Based on that value, if we get the same value, thickness and width, that we can easily we can define that is a square key, different values that is a rectangular key. Okay, and next one is the parallel sunk key. Now see here, parallel sunk key, we can find the parallel sunk key. This is the diagram here I've shown, parallel sunk key. So parallel sunk keys may be rectangle or square cross section. Okay, it may be these parallel sunk keys are maybe rectangle or square section. Okay, it may be noted here that parallel keys are taperless. Here parallel keys are taperless and it is used in the pulleys and gears and other meeting parts are required sliding along the shaft. See here, sometimes this rectangular key and square key having the tapers. Taper is nothing but taper is nothing but changing in the cross section, means decreasing the length. Okay, this is a taper. So this rectangular Sankhi, square Sankhi may have the tapered. Okay, the ratio is here 1:100. For this also the ratio is maybe 1:100. Okay, but coming to the parallel Sankhi, there is no chance of the tapering. Means always the shape of is like this one. Okay, so these keys, parallel Sankhi keys, are used where the gears or other mounting parts, whatever the mounting on the shaft, are required in the axial movements. Previous I explained here. Whatever the power torque is carrying in the shaft, that torque we need to transfer to the hub, and as well as hub is requiring the axial movement on the shaft. Okay, I have shown here. Okay, such kind of possibility is there with the help of this parallel Sankhi key. Okay, and next one is a gib headed key. Gib headed key is nothing but to this parallel Sankhi key only at one side. If you provide the head, one side means I am showing here. See here, this is an example. Gib headed means one side providing the head and free from the tapering. Here it is free from the tapering. If it is tapering means it is going to decreasing the length like this, decreasing the thickness like this. Okay, again I am drawing here. Okay, this parallel key, if you provide the one side head, that is known as a gib headed key. Okay, it is a rectangular Sankhi key and head at one end is known as a gib headed key. Okay, it is usually provided to facilitate the removal of the key. Easily removal of the key means whenever you want to remove the key with this, if you hold this key head and pull it out. If you pull it out easily, we can disassemble the parts as previously I explained. Okay. If we provide the double head means here also if you provide the head, here also if you provide the head, so this type of key is nothing but double gib headed key, double gib head key. Okay, it is also having the one advantage is you want to make it the hub and key as a unit. Suppose you want the make it a unit as a hub and key, so at that time hub is going to mounted on this one. Okay, hub is going to mounted on this one, and one hole if you provide that, through that hole if you make the screw joint, now the hub and as well as key is going to come and as a one unit means one product, and the remaining shaft is going to provided below this one. Shaft is going to provided below this one. Now at this time what happened, axial movement of this hub is possible without any difficulty, and shaft is always carrying the torque. And because of this assembly, what assembly, hub and double headed gib key we assembled here. this assembled product always carrying the axial moment easily. There is no difficulty. Okay. Madam, in classroom, the malla phone. Okay. The usual proportions for this one is same for the parallel Sankey keys. Parallel Sankey keys. If it is rectangular parallel Sankey key, that is width is d by 4 and thickness is d by 6. If it is parallel rectangular, means cross section it is having rectangle, so that is this one. If it is square, same proportions, width and thickness having the same dimensions. Okay. Next one is the feather key. Feather key is a key is attached to the one member of a pair and which permits the relative axial movement is known as a feather key here. Feather key is nothing but this one only, the parallel Sankey key. This parallel Sankey key, if we provide the holes here, okay, what is the purpose of creating the holes here? To assemble with the shaft. Means here we are making the 1 unit. We are making the 1 unit as after assembling this key and shaft. This key and shaft. So I am drawing the one cross sectional here. I'm drawing the cross sectional here. This is the shaft. Okay. Keyway. This is the keyway. In this keyway, I inserted the parallel Sankey key, and to this parallel Sankey key, 2 holes I made here. Okay, with these 2 holes, I assemble the shaft and key. Okay, now what happened? The shaft and key is going to 1 unit. In previous case, the hub and key is going to 1 unit. Now here the shaft and key is a 1 unit. Now at that time what happened? Whatever the you want, the axial movement of the hub or gates, that is possible with this type of key. That is feather keys. Such kind of keys are feather keys.
So what is the advantages of putting holes, sir?
Which one? Putting the holes is, here we are inserting the screws. With the help of screw, we are assembling this one, the key and shaft. What happens if you screw? There is a permanent temporary totally joint is there. So what happened with this? The key is not going to come outside, and always whatever the hub is there, hub is going to slide axially. Hub is going to slide axially. This movement is possible if we make it like this. Whatever this movement you want, so you make it the joint like this, this movement is going to possible. If you not screw this one, what happen when it is moving like this, and because the shaft having the torque here, means continuous rotation, there is a chance of the key is going to coming outside while it is running if you not make assemble here. Okay, so there is a always assemble is need. The assemble you can attach to the hub, otherwise you can attach to the shaft. If you are attaching to the shaft, that is referred as a feather key. Okay, if you are attaching to this key to the hub portion here, that is treated as a double-headed gip key. Okay.
Sir,
Tell me. Yes.
Sir, in some keys, we are not inserting the saddle with the help of hammer. We are screwing, sir.
So see here, whatever the different types I'm explaining, all are related to the Sankey key only. Sankey key are parallel, square, rectangle. Sankey keys are tapered. Okay, Sankey keys are special types also. I'm whatever the things I'm explaining so far, all are related to the sunk keys only. Okay.
Saddle keys and
Here,
sunk keys, they are classified. No, so here that's why I'm asking about this.
sunk keys we need to insert, as well as saddle keys also we need to insert. Based on the requirement, we are going to select the keys. Next one is the Woodruff key. Woodruff keys here. This is the diagram of Woodruff key. It is a semicircular. It is a semicircular shape. Semicircular shape and having the somewhat thickness. Semicircular shape and having the somewhat thickness. Okay. The Woodruff key is an easily adjustable key. Woodruff key is a easily adjustable key, and it is a piece of cylindrical disc having the segmental cross section, if you see in the front side view, and a Woodruff key is capable of tilting in a recess of the shaft. So whatever to insert the key, we need a recess in the shaft as well as we need a recess in the hub portion. So whatever the recess we provided in the shaft, I'm drawing here. Whatever the recess we provided here, in this recess, the Woodruff key tilted itself, means self-adjustment possibility is there with this Woodruff key. Okay, that is the meaning here. And these type of keys are largely used in machine tools and automobile constructions. These type of key you can find in a machine tools like a lathe machine and a drilling machine, whatever the machines are there, machine tools. In that you can find this Woodruff key, and you can find in the automobile constructions also. Because the advantage of this key is it is a self-aligning key. Self-aligning, self-adjustment means automatically it is going to down whenever as per requirement, and it is going to down this side as per the requirement. Means it is tilting inside the recess of the shaft. Okay. Now coming to the advantages of this Woodruff keys, it accommodates itself to any taper in the hub. Next one is it is usually in tapering shaft ends. Whatever the shaft are going to ended with the tapering section, means the shaft is having the taper section. Taper section means tapering section means here I'm drawing. Suppose the shafts are like this. Okay, so here you provide the recess. So here at this section, we are inserting the Woodruff. Okay, here what happening? It is useful in on operating the shaft and having the taperings, because here it is preventing any tendency to turn over in any key way. Here there is a chances of coming out of the keys, because here it is a key way tapering in cross section. So there is a chances of keys are coming outside of this recess. Here because of if you use this Woodruff key, self-aligning is possible with this Woodruff key. Because of that reason, this chance is going to reduces because it is tilting inside. Because this is tilting inside. Tilting inside. Okay, so what happened if it is tilted like this? There is no possibility come out of from the recess of the key. Okay, and this is the advantages of the Woodruff key. Now coming to the disadvantages, the depth of the keyway, whatever we providing in the shaft, we providing the keyway here. Okay, whatever the keyway we providing, the depth is required very largely. If you provide the small keyway, so what happens? Half of the keys come outside. So that is not whatever the self alignment with the Woodruff key is not going to generate. For that reason, we need to provide the depth of the keyway is very large. Okay, so this depth of the keyway, whatever we providing here, because of the keyway, the shaft is subjected to the stress concentration. The shaft is going to subject it to the stress concentration that leads to weakening of the shaft. That leads to weakening of the shaft. That is the one of disadvantages. And saddle key.
So there will be a lock about the hub, no, sir, to stop them to stop coming out of the.
Yeah, there is a lock system is there. The lock system I explained here for the feather key and double-headed gip key. Double-headed gip key, the locking system is possible. For feather key also locking system is possible. If you provide the locking system, there is a prevention coming out of the key outside. And with this also, yeah. Yeah, tell me, Babu. Okay. So with this Woodruff key, because this Woodruff key having the one advantage is self-tilting inside the recess. So because of that reason, whenever there is a time to coming out from the recess, the key, because of this tilting possibility is there, this is going to self-lock inside the recess. If it is more load is generating in this side, automatically it is going to tilt inside. So there is a chance, there is no chance to coming outside. If the load is appearing largely, automatically it is going to tilted like this. So there is a no chance to coming outside. That is the one advantage of this Woodruff key. So that reason this is mostly used in the automobile and machine tools. Okay. Now coming to the saddle keys. Saddle keys are two types: hollow saddle key, flat saddle key. So these saddle keys are having you can consider as it as a rectangular keys. Saddle key we can consider as a rectangle keys. Wait, I am drawing. There is no space. So I am drawing here. These keys are maybe only rectangle only. Okay. If it is flat saddle key, the two portions here both are flatness. If it is hollow saddle key, one of the surface having the circular arc. One of the portion having the circular arc. You can find here circular arc. Okay. So these saddle keys are mounting inside the shaft like this. I'm drawing here. I'm drawing here. Suppose this is the shaft. This is the shaft. And this is the one flat saddle key. This is the one flat saddle key. Okay. So flat saddle keys are inserted in the hub. Totally it is inserted in the hub, and small portion of the key is going to touch the shaft material. Small portion of the keys are going to touching the shaft material. Because of the friction between the shaft and the key, whatever the torque is generating in the shaft, the torque is transmitting to the hub. Okay, whatever the torque is generating here, the torque is transmitted to the hub here because of friction here. Only small portion of the only upper surface or lower surface of the key is going to touching to the this key, so this shaft. Okay, because of the frictional here, whatever the torque is generating, that torque is transmitting to the pulley. So here only how much if the speed increases or impact loads are generating. So what happens here, frictional material, whatever the friction is there, the friction is going to here neglected, because what happened in dynamic, what is the law of dynamic friction? As the speed increases, friction is going to decreases, isn't it? Based on that principle, here what happening, as the speed means there is no condition to rotate in a particular this much of speed only. Okay, so for that what happen, as the speed increases, friction is going to neglected here, and whatever the torque is generated, that continuously rotating, the hub is going to sit ideally on the shaft. So because of that disadvantages, okay, this type of flat saddle keys are applicable only for light loads. Only for light loads. As the load here nothing but increasing the torque or decreasing the torque. Okay. So for light load, here I said light load means as the speed increases, what happens? The friction between the contact materials, that is going to decreases. So because of that reason, there is no transmitting of the power. Because of the disadvantage, it is applicable for only light loads. Now coming to the halo. Halo saddle keys are totally, the total surface of the key is going to touching to the shaft. The total surface of the key is going to touching to the shaft, means here only small portion of the key is going to touching to the shaft, means only small friction is there here. Okay, here total surface is going to touching here. So that reason somewhat large load as compared with the flat, somewhat large loads can possible with this halo saddle key. Large loads are as compared with the flat saddle. Okay, so this is the saddle keys. Now coming to the tangent key. Tangent key here not sorry, I written, forget to written tangent key. Tangent keys are nothing but these square keys are placed in a right angle to each other. Here I am drawing. Suppose this is the shaft. Suppose this is the shaft. This is the shaft. Okay. So if I draw the one rectangle axis, so one perpendicular axis, here one key is inserted. Here one key is inserted. So the axis of these two keys are perpendicular. That is a tangent keys. Okay. So these keys are withstand from the torsion. These keys are withstand from the torsion failure, means shear failure, because whenever this is rotating, so this is going to subjected here torque, means force here, and another force is going to subjected here in this portion, means whatever the torque is there, that is distributed on the in this manner. So whatever the shear failure in the key, that is going to reduce somewhat. Okay, that is the usage of the tangent key. So because of this reason, we can use this tangent key. We can use this tangent key for the larger heavy loads, larger or heavy loads. Okay. Now round key, as I said, round key here. See here, this type of key is a round key. The advantage of the round key is, after assembling the hub and shaft, after assembling the hub, and this is the hub, this is the hub, and this is the shaft. After assembling the hub and shaft, based on the key diameter, this is the round key having the circular cross section. Okay, This may be uniform cross section and this may be tapered cross section. Okay, as per the requirement. After assembling these two, one drill is going to done here, drilling or reaming. After that, keys are inserted here. That is the one advantage. For the other, first we need to create the recess in the shaft, then recess in the hub. After that, we need to insert the key. Means we need to calculation. We need to do the calculation on separately and designing according to that and inserting the key. But here, after assembling the key and hub, after assembling the hub and shaft, so according to the diameter of this key, we are providing the hole and inserting the key. Okay, this is also subjected to the shear and as well as the crushing. Okay. Another is the spline keys. This one is splined key. Splined key is nothing but whatever the keys are integral means, or shaft, whatever the shaft means, keys are made with the integral with the shaft. The keys are integral. Whatever before producing only, the shaft is generating with the keys. This is the front view, and keys are integral with the shaft. Such type of keys are splined key. Okay. Generally, see this type of keys are only we can find in the gear drive. In our automobile, gearing system is there. In that you can find this type of keys. In this here, this is the one gear and this is the shaft coming from the motor engine. So here whatever the torque is there, torque is transmitting here, and when you are changing the gear, the disc is going to slide along this shaft. This disc is going to slide along the shaft. So that is the advantages with this key. It means the production of the key means it integral with the shaft. Okay. Now this is the use of different keys. Tapered keys can install. Here taper key is given and the terminology is given here. Hub length, here total hub length is going to be fitted here. This is a single headed gib key. Single headed gib key. Okay, so this is the front view of the round key. This is the plain tapered key. Okay, the cross sections is given. This is the Woodruff key. Woodruff key. Okay, now tapered keys can install after hub. Hub means here you can consider as a pulley, gear, okay, whatever the things are mounting on the shaft. Okay, so after hub, install over the shaft. And gib headed key, easy of extraction. And pin keys is nothing but round keys, low stress concentration here. See, because we are making the small hole. Because of small hole, the shaft is not subjecting to the stress concentration. The hub portion is not subjecting to the stress concentration because we are making a small hole here. Small hole here. You can join the next class, DME. This is the actual Raghavan sir class. Okay. Wait, I'm taking attendance because classes are planned separately. So this is the Raghavan sir class. So join the next class at what time? 11:20. Okay. Giving the 10 minutes time.